Hey everyone, Ryan here with Crushing REI and Lakeshore Homebuyer. Today I'm going to review a product called Launch Control. It is a SMS marketing, it's a texting platform here, and it's a huge benefit to my business to use this marketing channel. A text message, I had no idea that text message marketing was this effective for finding motivated sellers and for wholesaling real estate. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and show you the dashboard here. So this is what it looks like when you log in. You've got your unread messages, reminders, unanswered, no status. It gives you, this is really cool because it gives you your statistics here. So your average delivery rate. So in this case, mine is 77.6%, which is pretty good. Average response rate, right about 7%, which is pretty typical. You're not going to get much higher response than that from a text message campaign. Lead breakdown kind of gives you an idea of where your leads are. And this is for the week. You can change this if you want to extend further out. This is on the left hand side here. So this is where I would go in and go to my inbox for the day. So this shows you all messages. I have 2 acquisitions managers, and each one of them uses a different campaign. So up at the top here, there's a pull down menu, and you can actually select what campaign you want to view. So if you read my blog post, you will notice I did have a couple of issues with launch control. And I actually just reached out to support a couple weeks ago. But I have 2 acquisitions managers, and so what I was trying to do is set it up where each acquisitions manager would be able to access their own leads. And the answer I got was, well, you have to make them both admins in order to see, different campaigns and different leads. So, or really, essentially all the leads. So I didn't really understand why there wasn't a way to do that, but it is what it is. So right now I have my team members going in, and they just click this pull down menu and select which campaign that they're assigned to. So, and not a huge deal, but just wanted to point that out. And you can see we've got a lot of conversations going here. This here shows you, if I click on a prospect, it will open it up here. So you can actually see the conversation. And there's a couple of cool features I want to quickly highlight since they're in front of me. One is this push to CRM button. So Launch Control actually links up with many different CRMs. I use Resimply for my CRM, but it also, you can push leads to Zapier, to Podio CRM using Zapier. So it might be Zapier. I'm not sure how to say it, but Zapier is a program that it basically connects different platforms, and so they can communicate with each other. So yeah, it's pretty convenient that I can just do that instead of going in and typing in the name, the address, and entering the notes. This actually pushes it. It's one click. You just press this purple button here, and it will go right into my Resimply CRM. So I really like that feature. You can click on activity here where it'll tell you the different status changes, notes here, if you want to type in any notes. Another, issue I have with Launch Control, and there's not many, I really like this product, but when I type in a new note, and I hit add note, it will not tell me who said the note, right? So, and there might be a way to change this, but I haven't been able to figure it out. So let's say that I have another acquisitions manager that goes into this lead and they type in some notes. We don't know who those notes came from. So it doesn't say, this came from Nate or this came from Ryan or, whoever wrote in the note. So it would be nice to know, especially helpful if you've got, multiple different people working on different leads. So like we have kind of a lead manager who initially sends out the text messages and then sort of nurtures them, the warm ones. And so, he'll put notes in the system, and then we have our acquisitions managers who they'll put notes in the system. Sometimes I'll put notes in the system. The workaround there is, you can just sign your name or put your initials next to the note. So again, not a huge deal. So importing leads is pretty straightforward. You can import your list if you click on this button here in the upper right corner, import list. You can import both skip trace lists, so lists that you've already skip traced, and then you can import, just a unskip tracer, I guess, a list that you pull from list source or PropStream. You can import that list and then do your skip tracing directly in Launch Control. So I haven't actually used Launch Control for skip tracing yet. I have to imagine that they're pretty good at it, because if they weren't, that would be an issue, right? I mean, they're basically promoting that their text message marketing system works, and if they give you bad data, then that's probably not going to be a good selling point for them. But so these are some of the recent lists that we've imported here. The really cool thing too is you can see it tells you the prospects, how many mobile numbers, landlines, and it doesn't import the landlines because obviously we're not going to be texting landlines. And then here it shows you how many are potential litigators, which I think is very useful because I don't want to send a text message to a potential litigator, right? So they call that Blacklist Alliance. It's a feature that I guess goes through a 5-level check to eliminate anybody that might be associated with a litigator or who has, maybe threatened to do so in the past. And then this is the do not call list. So we want to remove those existing matches, which also is helpful because, as in marketing and when you're building lists, you're going to have some overlap and you're going to have some duplicates. So it does find those duplicates and it won't put them in the system twice. So that's good. So skip trace, this is if you want to skip trace a list, which again, I haven't done that yet, or maybe I have. It looks like there's a couple in here. So I'll have to go back and look at the statistics on that. Anyway, moving on here. So campaigns, so these are the different campaigns. So you can create as many as you want. And then you can also, every time you add a new list, you can decide what campaign you want that list to go. So like we've been doing a lot of owner occupant. So we've got over 10,000 in there and we just keep adding to it. Absentee is a big one for us. So we'll be adding more to that one here. And it tells you how many you've sent, how many you have remaining. So this tells me that we've got quite a few leads that we still have remaining, which is helpful for me as an owner because I can go in and I can see, hey, we're running low on leads. I need to import more leads. So templates. So this is one of my favorite features about Launch Control is the initial message builder. So you can, again, build as many as you want. You click create new. So you can see we have 3 that we use. And really, you don't need more than this. I mean, you might have build some different lists for maybe if you're targeting probate leads or maybe a different one for absentee owners. I mean, honestly, we just use, these 3 and so you do have to put some time into this. It doesn't take too long, but you build out your list. It tells you, it really helps you do it though. It'll tell you what keywords not to use. There's a bunch of keywords that these mobile carriers are when they see one of these keywords, they're automatically assuming that that's a spam message and so it won't get delivered. Some of those words are like buy, sell, deal, and Launch Control. Actually, if you try to type one of those words, it will flag that word. It'll say, hey, don't use this word. So that's very helpful. You also notice, I've got, so this is just a field. So hi first name. So that's going to put in the prospect's first name. And then you see in the orange here, so these are called spinner tokens. So this is pretty cool because so you can pick any word you want, and they recommend doing, I think, at least 2, but more is better. So if you can do 3, that's better. But basically, a spinner token is a synonym of a word, right? So in this case, I'm in search of, prospecting, or pursuing. So as long as the sentence still reads good using any one of these 3 words here, then you're good, right? And then here's another one. If you have any plans, intentions, thoughts to sell, this is, alias rep name is just your name, so you can create an alias. We use Lisa. So this is Lisa, by the way. So what these spinner tokens do is launch control will actually alternate those words, and there's a combination of, I think for this one, something like 27 or 30 different combinations of this message that you can send. So what that does is, again, it helps with deliverability rates, because these carriers, if you send the same message over and over and over again as a unsolicited text message to somebody, you're going to get blocked. They're going to mark that as spam, and it's not going to go through. So launch control, again, is 2 steps ahead. They know that. They know how to kind of switch up the message so it gets delivered more often. So, and all the carriers are different. They all have different rules and different policies. And I think AT&T, and this was a year ago when I was doing this, but AT&T had something where you couldn't put your name, you couldn't put your first name, I think, and so you just had to introduce yourself as just, hey, I'm looking to buy houses, or whatever you want to say. And then there's some other specific rules that other carriers have. So launch control knows all those rules, and it'll give you suggestions on how to build out those initial messages. And I think for AT&T it was, maybe you couldn't put the prospect's first name. I think that's what it was. I was confusing it, but anyway, so moving on here, batches. This is how you send the message. So another sort of regulation with text message marketing is you can't just send a large batch of messages without actually having to go through and do a mouse click each time. So, launch control is within compliance with that, which is pretty cool. So you can send out what they call batches, and you can tell it how large those batches are. So I think we do 50 at a time. We do about 150, or we do 300 a day, but we do them in batches of 50. So we'll do one batch, and then we'll do, wait 20 minutes as we respond to that first batch, and then we'll do another batch, 20 minutes later, and kind of do that for a 2-hour period throughout the day. So, again, launch control is kind of thought of everything, right? They definitely, this is their business, and this is what they're experts in, and so it's definitely worth the money. So you're probably wondering how much it costs. Well, if you go to pricing here, I'm going to close out of this. Actually, this is the blog post that I recently wrote here. So this might be hard to see, but this is the pricing here for launch control. It's $297 a month for the light version, $497 for core, $997 for pro. So I started with the light version at $297, and that was fine for about 6 months. And I'm like, hey, I'm getting deals. I want to send more text. So I moved to the core version, which is $497, and that gives you, I think, 10,000 monthly contacts, which that's basically just how many initial text message that you can send. And that's for one market. If you have more than one market, you have 2 markets, you can move to the pro. And then I think the light gives you 2,500 monthly contacts. So that's the pricing. Let's see what else. I know we kind of talked about the compliance, the blacklist litigator. So I think it just gives me the peace of mind that I'm using a legitimate company that kind of has my back, in case there's anything that were to happen. I feel, text. I was always a little bit uneasy about, using text message marketing as one of my marketing channels, but I'm a huge believer now. I mean, it works for us. We get probably 30 to 40% of our leads or our deals from text message marketing. And I really believe it's the future. I think there's going to be updates, and there's going to be more regulations. But as long as you have a company like Launch Control that is, up to speed on everything that's happening and is constantly updating, their system and making changes and, being compliant, then I feel good about it, and I think it's definitely worth checking out. So hopefully you enjoyed this review, and stay tuned for more.